Hi, this is Vicki with Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome back to our learning session on living skills. This week, we're actually going to continue on our journey of teaching some practical skills to our little learners. This week, we're going to cover washing hands, brushing teeth, pouring, and wiping a table. So let's get started. Well, this is activity number 5, washing hands. And in your box, we've included a small soap for them to use. And you could use the cloths that we provided for drying their hands. Learning to wash their hands properly is really important for hygiene and preventing sickness. And children also really find it fun to see the bubbles they create from the soap. Sometimes a reminder of the steps in a visual form is really helpful to remind them to do all the steps. So if you need a printout of the visual schedule reminder like we see here on the screen, please let us know and we'll mail you one that's laminated for you to put by your sink. Well, before we get started with the demonstration, here are the steps. First, you want to get your hands wet under the running water. Then you rub your hands with the soap until bubbles form, and you can point these bubbles out to the child. You want to rub your palms of your hands together first, then the back of your hands, and then interlace your fingers and clean between them. And then using a rotating motion, rub your thumbs and then clean your fingernails and fingertips by rubbing them onto the palm of your hand. And then use a rotating motion to clean your wrists. Finally, we're going to rinse the hands with water until all the soap is gone, and then show them how to pause and let their hands kind of drip over the sink. And then finally, we'll wipe the hands with a towel. So let's actually watch the demonstration and we'll point out some of those things again. There are the bubbles. Tops, middles, thumbs, fingernails, fingertips, wrists. And then the paws, and then the towel. Well, this is activity number 6, and over the years, research has found that dental health has long-term impacts on your physical health. People with poor dental hygiene have a higher risk of heart disease and even dementia. So for young children that are actually learning to speak, using their teeth, mouth, and tongue, working together to make sounds, having all your teeth healthy makes a huge difference. In your box, you're going to find a toothbrush to use and a cup to rinse your mouth after they're done. In our demonstration, we're not going to actually use any toothpaste. And when the child is actually mastering the brushing parts, it's best that they practice just with water. You should follow your dentist's recommendations on toothpaste when you brush your children's teeth. And when you think they're ready to do it themselves, add the toothpaste back into the cycle. So our first step is actually to wet the toothbrush. And then we start with the top teeth right in the middle teeth first, brushing. And then we do one side on the top, and then we brush the other side. Next, we move to the bottom teeth, and we click on the bottom teeth just in the same way we did the middle, and then the first side, and then the second side, and then we sip a little out of the cup of water, swish that liquid around, and then spit into the sink. And that's how you brush your teeth. This is activity number 7, pouring. Practicing pouring helps children with focus and concentration, as well as, developing their hand strength and pincer grip. And think of all the independence pouring allows. They can pour their own cereal or water, and it will make things go much smoother at home. We're going to first practice a dry pour and then a wet pour, and then we're even going to practice pouring to a line. Now, we provided a 1 cup measure and a clear cup for your pouring. Let's take a look at our first one. Couple things to remember, a tray underneath is really great to catch any misses or mistakes. Cleanup with water can be used done doing our sponge transfer technique. And we're going to do 3 transfers. This is the dry transfer first. She's doing it between 2 cups, but you can use it using the measuring cup and a cup, your choice. Let's watch. That's the pincer grip. So we provided pasta, which is really kind of great because the pieces are pretty big, so you're not trying to pick stuff up off the floor um, with this. Let's take a look at the wet transfer. Notice how she uses 2 fingers on her left hand to actually, and she puts them underneath the spout. That stabilizes the whole pitcher, and then she'll use her right hand to actually um, do the actual tipping of the pitcher to pour the water into the empty cup. So, and of course, you can use the sponge to wipe the spout of the pitcher when you're done pouring. Let's watch. And there she is wiping. Well, this is activity number 8, wiping or washing the table. We'll be using a sponge, the cloth, and bar soap that we've used in the previous activities. And before you have your child wipe or wash the table, you want to set the table up first. Remove any items that are on the table because when they get going, they might knock stuff over. And then you can prepare the sponge, the soap, and the cloth so they have everything ready. And you might want to include a little bowl of water for easy access, although that's not necessary. Let's take a look at wiping the table. So the steps that we're going to go through is we're first going to wet the soap, and then starting from the left side, we're going to use the soap to do loops across the table. When you get to the end, on the left, you're going to create another set of loops until you've actually covered the entire table. Then you're going to take the sponge and wet it, and you'll use the wet sponge to go over the table in the same way in loops from left to right and then top to bottom until it's been actually washed. You can show the child the sponge. You'll probably see some dirt, which is what we're after. And then you can rinse the sponge in a bucket of water and then use the sponge to go over the table once more, kind of, clearing off the kind of things, and then wash the sponge again when you're done. Finally, use the cloth to wipe the table dry and try to move from left to right. Let's take a look at the demonstration. Here are the materials: the soap, the sponge, and the cloth. And here's her extra bowl of water. She's wetting the soap. And you can see she's drawing basically these big loops, top to bottom. Now with the sponge, she'll get it wet. Gets the excess water out. And then the same loops. Left to right, top to bottom. And she shows you the dirt. She's rinsing the sponge out. Now she's going to go over the table one more time. Basically get the soap residue off top to bottom and left to right. She rinses it again. And then using the cloth, same motion, left to right, top to bottom. She's drying the table. Isn't it going to be great to have a child that can clean up their own spills? I think that's amazing. We can't wait to hear how it's working in your house. That's all for this week. Talk to you next week.